yo, there is another world right now.
Exactly.
It is another dimension. The dimensions that you're talking about, there's one that we've actually created. We created a dimension.
Yeah.
Which means that ones before us have created dimensions. This one. So it's
That's
like,
right.
what does it feel like in another dimension? You might still want to be fresh. You might still want to have fun. You might still want to get hot. All of those things. And then think about what the next level. Think about what the next level of this metaverse is. What if we give the characters emotions?
Right. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. AI is going to be injected into it, and they're going to get a consciousness. There's a video
What if
game
these
called
digital
The Sims.
things have consciousness?
Right. There's a video game called The Sims that's out right now, right?
Yeah.
They have babies, they have lives, they go to parties and clubs, and they have houses and everything else. But the Sims guy has been working to make those characters conscious through AI. When they get conscious, they're going to be saying, where did we come from? Who's our creator? What is the Big Bang? The Big Bang is when the game console turns on. That's the Big Bang. Right?
Now, I bet you what's going to happen is when they do get conscious, we're not going to be allowed to tell them that we... Nope. Oh, my God. We're in a game.
Listen, there's a prime directive. There'll be a prime directive that'll be initiated because of tampering with a civilization that hasn't become fully aware of what they are, who they are, where they come from. And we won't be allowed to directly violate that prime directive.
But that's exactly what's happening to us right now.
Yeah.
Look at Star Trek. The last Star Trek, they was like, yo, you let them see the spaceship. You fucked up the, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, because once you let them see it, they turn into a cargo cult. They start worshiping just the same way we got religion on this planet. The way religion was started on this planet, advanced beings came here, interacted with mankind, and we deified them because it looked like magic to us. Only a God can do this. And we started praying to these people. These people masqueraded as gods. There is a God creator of this realm, of this dimension, of this universe. Maybe
you know what it sounds like? Now, look, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So imagine if there was a way at some point that we could figure out how to jump into the digital and we could do all of these things and all this other shit. They gonna be like, oh shit, that's God. And then they become, oh man,
because we got the hacks.
We in the program, B.
Yeah, we don't.
You won't find a video, you won't find a book where anybody is explaining when did the Israelites begin to awaken their captivity and know that they are the Israelites. Now, the captivity I'm speaking on is the one pertaining to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 68, the transatlantic slave trade. And when you look into the history, you'll find out that there was wars going on in Americas called the Gullah Wars. This is the real reason why slavery ended. You had the dark Native Americans that was here, and you had the slaves brought from the coast of Africa team up and start to go against the slave owners. They did not assimilate. This is when we began to rise. Then in 1810, when slavery was still going on, we established Israel Hill, which was pretty much a vigorous black community like a Wall Street that lasted all the way into the 20th century. Now, I'm pretty sure what that did was birth the mindset of Martin Robertson Delaney. What he started was the 1836 quest of a nationhood. Now, what he was really doing was advocating for a creation of a black Israelite nation, and he wanted the land to be somewhere in East Africa. That's where Israel's at. Now, it's going to be somebody out there trying to discredit him, but guess what? This man was a physician who graduated from Harvard Medical School during slavery. Next, we got William Crowdy, who was born into slavery in 1847. He started the first Hebrew Israelite church. That's what it was called, the Hebrew Israelite Church in the 1800s. Now, it was located in Kansas, but he was so successful, he ended up opening up churches across the whole nation. Now, this is Louis Tate, a.k.a. Mother Mary. Yes, a woman. And guess what she did? She started camps. So if you seen, Israelites on the corners, it started from a woman. It started from her. We could go back in the Bible and I could tell you who it started from. But if we talking about here in America, it started with her. And what her church was called was a Church of Living God. Breaking into the 20th century, we got Wentworth Matthews, who actually came up under Louis Tate's church. He was actually a leader. He ended up starting the Commandment Keepers, which was a Hebrew congregation. Check out his congregation. And the guy on the top photo, right there on your right, we're going to talk about him next. Now, the other guy that was in that last photo, that's Frank S. Cherry. And what he was known for was challenging religious believers to prove that the Jews was not black for $1,000, which is $25,000 a day. And he offered $10,000 to prove that Christ was not black. And you only could use the Bible. Man, it's crazy. Out of this church, you get the One West leader, Abba Bivens. He started One West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The school was known as ISUPK. He was actually a churchgoer of Frank S. Cherry and of Wentworth Matthews. Now, I bet you thought I was going to start with him, huh? Nah, our history is deep. Shalom.
A CNN investigation has found that Accra, Ghana was the launch pad for an online operation to stoke racial tensions and stir up social unrest in the U.S. ahead of the 2020 election. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, hundreds of accounts churned out posts about issues such as racism and police brutality in the U.S.
For months now, we've been investigating this network of trolls targeting African Americans, and now we've actually come here to Ghana to try to get the full story.
In the run-up to our journey, we had discovered that all of the accounts were connected to an NGO called Eliminating Barriers for the Liberation of Africa, known as EBLA or EBLA. Looking at the website, it was clear something was off. Parts of it still had dummy text. It was impossible to make an actual donation. And most mysteriously, one of the photographs had a Russian file name. Though the group claimed to be focused on issues like poverty in Ghana, its employees posted almost exclusively about the U.S. Some used incendiary language. America's descent into a fascist police state continues. Someone needs to take that senator out. Often they posted on real U.S. groups, an attempt to gain legitimacy and build an audience. Many even implied they were in America. We all are sick and tired of the violence that's taking place in our communities. In reality, they were here, in a nondescript house on the outskirts of Ghana's capital.
This is the compound where the operation has been based. There's no sign for an NGO. We're about an hour outside of the city, and you can see this is a very secluded residential area. And people here have been telling us that about 3 weeks ago, Ghanaian security services showed up here, raided the building, and no one's been back since.
Sources in Ghana's national security tell CNN that all of EBLA's funding came from Russia. After the raid, the accounts went quiet for a few days. Then on Instagram, the group changed their handle names and started posting again. We're heading out now to meet one of the EBLA employees. They don't actually know the CNN is coming to this meeting, but we're desperately hoping they might be able to give us some more information about how the NGO works and who might be behind it. After some discussion about their safety, the employee agrees to talk to us, provided we keep her identity hidden.